Hey guys, Ty the Kayak Warrior. Welcome back to the channel. Wanted to do a little bit something different today because we've been getting a lot of rain. So I did get out on a recent trip, but because of the rain, I had to leave off the water pretty quickly. I was only out for about 2 hours. But it made me think about something that JC and I were talking about when we went out recently, and that is making subtle changes when you're not catching fish. So I'm gonna take you through the trip that I just went on and talk about some of the subtle changes that I made to help me get a decent sized snook in the boat. So if you hang with me, I'm gonna take you through it. All right, guys. So starting off, what I did, I went to my normal spot that I go to when I am able to get out on my quick Friday trips. And so I was gonna do one thing, and I was gonna throw plastics, mainly a paddle tail, and then was gonna switch to possibly a shrimp. I did throw a jerk bait, a soft plastic jerk bait, but no takers whatsoever. So as I'm going down the bank in this clip, what I was doing was fan casting, just trying to see if I can get something to commit and hit my paddle tail. So what I did not realize was that as I'm going down the bank, that I was going with the current. So that was the first thing that I realized once I started putting things together. So I'm just going down the bank, I'm just casting, and I know when I was trolling to get to the spot, I had a couple of little taps, but it wasn't anything significant. Once I get down here to the end and I turn around and I start going back up, I made a couple of quick changes. And the second thing that I noticed was, so the first thing being I was going with the current and I needed to be going against the current. And the reason why I need to go against the current is because if I toss my lure in front of a fish and bring it back in front of them, that's more of a natural presentation of a fish swimming with the current to get away from another potential predator. So what you're doing is you're throwing it in front of them and you're allowing the bait to come back in front of them. And that's when you're going to get those reaction strikes from either snook, trout, or redfish. And so something that JC, we were just sitting around talking on our last trip. And the one thing he mentioned, which I know it's in my mind, but he made something click. So thank you, JC. That was redfish and snook are more saltwater bass. And so that made me think of when I'm bass fishing, I know that they're both predatory and reaction strike fish. More so, well, trout are as well. So I know that if I get that bait in the right place with the fish facing a certain way and I get it right in his nose, he's going to go after it off of a reaction strike. So once I turned around and started going into the current, I realized the first thing. The second thing was, as you can see here, this water is pretty dingy. And right here is when I actually realized I'm pulling my bait through and I can barely see, or I can actually see how bright white that is. That's where these words are saying I need to change. I think I might need to change colors. Maybe that's the issue. Now that I've made the change of the bait with the color, I can now move forward and try to get my lure as close to the trees as possible so that way I can get that reaction strike. So the other thing with the color, making the change to the color, it's twofold. One, because to stay in the water, you want to have a darker color because fish tend to look like their surroundings. So with that white, it was standing out so bright. It's not natural to the fish, but that darker color made it a little bit more natural. Now, something I also have known in the past is that when you have stained water, you want to bump up your bait size because fish also go off of vibration. And that paddle tail creates a vibration in the water, and they can find that bait a little bit easier. And with the bigger profile, I went from a 3-inch to a 4-inch. That bigger profile made that bait stand out a little bit more. Now, as I'm going down the bank, you'll see here is when I totally realized that now I'm doing things right. When I see these snook right here, that made me realize, okay, they're fishing into the current, and I was doing it wrong the first 30 minutes of my fishing.
There were like 4 of them right there. I know one thing though, that showed me something because they're all pointed in that direction. Huh. Very interesting.
So as I'm going through, I'm not getting any bites or anything, but what I did notice, there were a couple of cuts back in amongst the trees, and I saw where those snook were hanging out. They were up underneath the trees. So I was like, I need to find these little pockets of where the water would create an eddy for itself. And all an eddy is, it's a place where the current is flowing, but there's a section that's off to where there's less water pressure, less current flow, and allows kind of a pool. So I noticed the trees had created that kind of a pool for those snook that were hanging out, and they would just jump out and grab bait. So as I'm pedaling up and I see this spot, I'm like, this has got to hold a fish. So I decided to stand up, because me standing up, I can cast more accurately into an area, so that way I have a maximum potential to get my bait in front of a fish with less chance to spook them. So me standing up, I'm able to get that over a little bit softer. So as soon as this thing hits the water and I wind one time, you can see that fish come out and strike it.
There we go.
So I knew that I had made the right decision, and now it's just fighting this fish and getting it in the boat. And so the other part of it is boat positioning. I got myself into a precarious situation because it's tight in this area where I'm fishing, but I was able to land this fish.
No. Oh, Jesus, I'm getting caught up in all this stuff. Get in here. Whoo, boy. Yeah, buddy. I got you. I got you. Whew. Look at that sucker right there. It's not real big, but for not catching anything today so far, that's pretty good. And I was able to stand up and cast right in that location, because I was like, I know there's got to be something there, because if those fish were back there that I just saw, then this one would be facing the same way. So I decided to cast in there. I'm glad I changed that color, because I think that helped as well. I know. I'm gonna let you go.
So as you can see here, that was a great ending to me figuring out how to change my color, the size of the bait, direction that the fish are facing, and also my presentation helped land this fish. All right, guys, I hope what I explained in this video will help you know, anytime that you're out on the water, making those subtle changes can actually help you get fish in the boat. And like I said, this was a very short trip, but I was able to land that snook. Sometimes you go out there and you don't catch anything. So I was pretty happy to land this one snook. And as a bonus, no footage, you know, per se, but as you can see, I hooked another one right after it, using the same technique. Just had something going on with my head GoPro, but I figured something out. And so I was able to hook 2 fish back to back, and then got run off by the rain. So like I said, I hope this video helped you guys. If you have any questions, comments, things that I could have done better, put them in the comments so that way we can talk about them. And it may help out somebody else. And if this is your first time to the channel, do me a favor, subscribe to my channel. And also while you're here, go ahead and please like the video. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for hanging with me. And remember, God loves you. God bless you. May he keep you. Till next time, peace.